obviously, anytime you win, it's a positive. And to win 39-0, it's very difficult nowadays in college football or any level of football to get a shutout. And I was very proud of our defense, but really you got to attribute a lot of that to our offense in the second half. The ability to be able to run the football, and that was kind of the plan as we went into halftime when we were presented those circumstances. So very pleased with the victory, but I think, red zone offense disappointing. Defense created one turnover, had an opportunity on two other situations. I thought we had a chance to get there. I thought we had some miscommunications defensively. I don't know if we played as well as we would have wanted to have played against this football team defensively. But for some procedural issues, very frustrating. Had to take 2 timeouts in the first half. We can't afford to do that as we move forward in the SEC. Our team, our organization, the University of Florida, decided to pay tribute, obviously, to 9/11 this weekend, and we had some young men on our football team that carried American flags out there, all young men that have relatives in the military or have been in the military. Dominic Easley, Jeremy Brown, Lorente McCray, Matt Elam, Jesse Schmidt, who will be a commissioned second lieutenant upon graduation and got a carry at the end of the game, which was exciting. Xavier Nixon, Luchez Purifoy, and Jabari Gorman. So proud of all of those people. 9/11 affected us all in different ways, and certainly a very irrational occurrence that happened, very difficult to deal with. So we want to pay our respect to those people and open up for any questions.
Pat Dooley in the backyard to the right.
Will, 2 things. 1, it's your first shutout as a head coach. Feels special. And 2, how long before you got in the locker room did you mention Tennessee?
I think, again, I told Dan on the sideline, I said, you enjoy it because it's hard. I've been his coordinator for a long time, and with this day and age of college football, it's very difficult to get a shutout. So enjoy it. The players need to be proud of themselves. But again, as I always tell them, the good plays take care of themselves. The negative ones are the ones you got to correct. Obviously, our teams know we start the SEC next week, and we're looking forward to that. And I think that they're excited about that opportunity to get into conference action.
Fran's right here to the left.
Would you talk about the ability to control the football and control the clock with your running game, and talk about how your offensive line contributed to that?
Well, I think, again, this is UAB's first game, so they went through their anxiety and pregame jitters and sort of thing as far as, being able to sustain for a 60-minute game. And it was humid out there tonight, like it always is, but very proud of being able to line up and run it when they know we're going to run it, and we're still able to run it and take possession of the ball, because we're going to have some games that we're going to have to do that. But we're going to have to slow the tempo down offensively, help our defense, and play good team football. And that was what we wanted to do at halftime.
Rachel over here in the middle, coach in the middle.
You guys settled for field goals on 3 of those red zone trips in the first half. What was kind of going on that was the case?
Well, we had a miscommunication one series on a call on 3rd down. It's not what we wanted to be in. And then we had some penalties that put us behind. I believe we finished the game with 9 penalties. Too many penalties. We had some all sides defensively in critical situations, especially 3rd downs, disappointing, discipline issue penalties. And you can't afford to have those. So you can't put yourself behind the sticks offensively, especially in the red zone when the pass zone's condensed and it's tougher to run the football. And then people are outnumbering you in the box. We're going to go back and look at it and make the corrections we need to make.
Kevin over here to the left.
What were your thoughts on some of the wrinkles you guys showed offensively tonight with the Wildcat and with the kind of jumbo package there?
Well, again, we install for the season, so it's kind of, people say, well, what did you hide? Well, we game plan each week to win the game and do what it's going to take to win the game. So each week we pull a package offensively, defensively, and special teams on what we've got to do to win the football game. And we wanted to use some of those things this week. We felt like it gave us a good advantage to win the game.
Mike right here to the left, coach Mike Rockland.
Did you feel, you talk about miscommunication and some of those procedural issues. Did you feel you guys had more of those this week than you did last week? Last week went a little smoother than this week, and why do you think that is?
I don't know. We need to make sure we handle it, first of all. But secondly, I think we had a couple guys go down in drives. So as far as the substitution put us behind as far as the play calling was concerned, because you got to get the right personnel in the game, and we're a personnel team offensively and defensively. So when we had a couple guys get banged up, and in order to move to the next call, we had to make sure we had the right personnel in the game, and that put us behind a little bit.
And do you, ready or not, next week Tennessee, the SEC is here. Do you feel good about what you wanted to get done in the first 2 weeks and some of the things that you wanted to see out of the offense and defense?
We wanted to be 2-0, and that's where we are.
Jason over to the right.
Well, how impressed have you been with not only Chris Rainey's
individual moves that he's done on some plays for his total performance for you?
Well, again, since I've been at the University of Florida, I've watched a guy that is extremely competitive. He's a great practice player. You ought to come watch him practice, you know, if we ever opened it up. But it may not happen.
Is that an invitation?
No, it's not. So he is extremely electric with the ball in his hands, and a lot of fun to watch. But you watch him compete at practice. He blocks hard in practice. I mean, he does everything that you want a good football player to do to contribute to your football team. And he brings a certain energy to the football team. He's as like the guys on the football team that I see from my eyes. But he's done everything we've asked. He's worked hard. He's competitive. He's tough. And God's blessed him with an awful lot of ability.
Chris in the back, to the middle, straight back.
What's the status of Jeff Dance?
I don't know at this time. I haven't met with the trainers. He got a bang on his shoulder, I believe, and they tell him he's down, and he's down. I don't question anything. As long as we got great medical people, and they tell me he's down, he's down.
Antonio over here to the left.
I was going to ask about Chris, and also, is Jordan Reed okay?
As far as I think it was just a twinge in his hamstring there, but I think he's fine.
Straight back to the left, back there to the left. Coach, can you talk about Trey Burton and how he's performed in all the various different roles that he plays on the field?
Well, again, I think you see him line up in the slots, you see him line up at fullback, you see him line up at halfback. He's really good at protection. He's an outstanding receiver. You saw him tonight running the football, getting his pads downhill, provides for us to get a bigger back in the game with the same personnel grouping on the field, with taking a Chris or a Jeff and putting them in the slot with some of our one-back stuff. So, again, he's just a really good player. Football comes very easy to him. He gets it, he understands it, and really happy he's a Gator.
Mike over here to the left, coach.
Well, your assessment of John Brantley's performance came to...
I thought John, again, played very well and did what we asked him to do within the offense. Again, with some of the communication issues, when we had a couple guys go down, we've got to iron out. So the first person I'm going to blame is me as a staff, but we've got to get those things communicated better on the field, and we'll get together as an offensive staff early tomorrow morning to find out what we've got to do.
Jason to the right.
Will, you seemed pretty disgusted with how you guys ran the offense and some of the procedural penalties and things like that in the first half. Did it get a little cleaner in the second half, and if so, why do you think
it did? Well, we slowed it down a little bit. We got in there at halftime and figured out who we could go with in the second half as far as the players were concerned and what we wanted to do. I think Charlie did a great job of going in and ironing out and planning what we want to do. We moved the ball the whole first half. We just got in the red zone, and you can't have those critical areas in those situations. It's demoralizing for an offense to kick field goals in the red zone. And you want to leave with points regardless. I mean, that's the first thing. But when you get down there, you got to put 7 on the scoreboard, especially with where we're headed. So that's something we got to get corrected a little bit. And it's disappointing if they make a good play defensively. We can live with that. Don't like it, but we can live with it. But when you shoot yourself in the foot, that's what you can't do, and that's what we did tonight.
Question in the middle.
Yes, Coach. Gillisley provides a nice spark. He's done it for 2 games in a row. We're going to see a lot more of him as the season progresses. Is this some guy that we're going to be seeing pretty much carry the load in some key situations down the road?
Well, Mike certainly brings some value to our team because he's different than what we have. Mm-hmm. And you look at Jeff and you look at Chris. They're both speed backs. They're both perimeter backs. We do run them inside purposely at times. But Mike certainly is a guy that can give us some tough yards in the middle. We run a little different path with him as far as the inside power and the inside zones that we like to run with him. He's a downhill runner. Very pleased with Mike's progress to this point.
Rachel in the middle.
This was a tougher test for your secondary. Would you assess how they handled the passing game from you?
Well, they didn't do much vertically, and that was we had kind of prepared for that. We knew they would be a huge screen team, but they didn't really challenge us vertically. They had the one shift to empty. That they got the ball on top of us outside. We got an opportunity to get that one off, and then the one they hit a slant and go sluggo there in the seam, and we should have collisioned the second break. And those are the 2 I saw come out. Sure, there probably will be some others on film as I watch it, but again, I just didn't feel like we played as clean as we needed to play on either side of the ball. But defensively, I just didn't feel like we were on top of where we needed to be at times.
Chris in the back again.
Coach, you mentioned how hard Chris Rainey practices and things like that. Does he have something that other players on the team don't have? Is something he knows, or just a different drive?
No, I wouldn't say that. We have a lot of guys that practice well. And again, I've said this before, and it's a credit to Mickey Marotti and Urban and his staff. Well, these guys know how to practice. They know how to compete. I mean, there's no question about that. But I just think you see certain guys that have a certain bounce about themselves every day at practice, and Chris has that. I think he positively affects everybody in the organization. But a guy that's really passionate about what he does, he likes football. He really enjoys playing football, and I'm glad he's getting it.
And you were pretty outspoken in your reaction to the ruling on Sharif Floyd. I'm just wondering why you decided to take that tone with your reaction to it.
Well, I support Sharif Floyd. Really, my issue, I stand by it 100%. That's how I feel about the situation. I'm going to move on with it, and we're going to move on with it as the University of Florida.
Franz, right here to the left.
Will, I know you didn't get the number of turnovers you wanted or the sacks, but were you pretty much pleased with the kind of pursuit you got from your defense?
Well, we run well. It got us in trouble a couple of times on the over routes. We overran a couple of routes that they hit back across the field, which is a good design on their part. But, the sacks are going to come hard when you play an offense like that. The ball's out. It's a quick passing game. It's a controlled passing game. There's not a vertical passing game down the field. So it's going to be difficult to get sacks. I don't look at sack as much as I look at hits on the quarterback. That's really important because you're hitting the guy every snap. So I think we got good pressure at times, but the turnovers we need to pick up. We need to do a better job of that.
Coach, you talked about the importance of getting takeaways on defense. Did you feel better about the way that went today with Elam taking one away and Roberson putting himself in a position, or is one still not enough for you guys here?
Well, we want to get 3. Your chances of winning a game go to 90% when you get 3 turnovers. I think it's 74 or 72 when you get 2. And it's below 50 with 1. If you end up on the positive end in the last 5 years in college football, I believe it is. So again, we just preach over and over. The game's called football for a reason. It's all about the possession of the ball.
Jason again over the right.
Will, do you think you'll have any contact with Derek Dooley this week, even something lighthearted?
No, I doubt it.
Kevin.
I know you said it's kind of demoralizing to kick field goals, but when you have a guy that's dependable like Sturgis, what does that mean this season?
Oh, yeah, when we get to the 35, we think 52 is his range. Even beyond that, in training camp, to be honest with you, we kicked a 56-yarder there in a 1-minute drill at the end of the game drill we used one day. So he gives you an awful lot of confidence with his accuracy and his leg. And a guy that's done a nice job with kickoffs, better positioning on the kickoffs as opposed to last week. That's a little bit of our issue last week in coverage was where we kicked it as much as how we covered it.
Time for a couple final questions, Coach. Raise your hand, we'll get yours before we bring the players in. Any final questions? Last question for France.
Again, you got even though you didn't throw the ball a lot tonight, you got the ball spread around to a lot of people. Obviously, you're pretty pleased with the way you're getting the ball distributed and making other teams work against you in defense.
Well, again, that's one of the things we talk about is not giving up big plays. It's very difficult for an offense to put together 10, 12, 13 play drives and consistently without making some mistakes down the field. And so we talk to our players about the 2 critical factors in winning and losing games is turnover ratio and big play ratio. You can't give up big plays, and you got to make big chunks on offense. You can talk about rushing defense and passing defense, all that stuff. It really doesn't matter because that all directly affects if you're making big plays in running or passing. So that's really what we try to focus on.
Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all very much.
Caleb Sturgis over here to the left.